Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, Mr. Walberg. Your first question, what are your views on climate change, energy sources, and has the Gulf oil spill changed your opinion?
Well, let's start with the last question. The Gulf spill has not changed my opinion. It's made me more resolved with the fact that we need to promote energy independence and not just talk about it. I introduced legislation when I was in Congress that was an all-above energy plan. The plan would have said, while pushing for alternatives, encouraging development of alternatives, whether it be biofuels, whether it be wind, solar, those can be useful, but they're not the only things. Let's encourage our citizens in this great country to be creative and find future sources that'll work. But let's not neglect the present sources that we have. The fact that we're not using the oil, the petroleum resources, the natural gas resources sufficiently right now to the point that we have to purchase from Canada, from Saudi Arabia, from Venezuela, from Russia, from other sources, is not good for the security of this country as well as the economy. We have resources, whether it be in Alaska at ANWR, or whether it be in the Bakken Reserve out in the western states, or the Marcellus find here in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio. To let those lie simply because their environmental influence says we're not going to use them is the wrong approach. To not use nuclear power, when in fact France supplies 75% of their energy through nuclear sources and does it without damage, danger, or harm, is another indicator that we've gone the wrong direction. So my plan would have said, let's give incentive, let's use all of the above. On the idea of climate change, sure, there's climate change. You could look back historically. There's been warming, there's been cooling. It'll go on forever. Man-made global warming or man-made climate change is a different story. I don't believe the same thing that environmentalists like Al Gore and others are talking about, that man has the capability of changing the climate to the point that it can alter civilization. It just has not been proven. In fact, in recent days, with true climatologists out there, there are at least equal numbers that are saying no. While cycles take place, man-made is insignificant. So to let that determine our policy and to put us back where we can't even supply our own coal fuel for the fighter jets, the new age fighter jets that we have in our resources, and we have to buy that fuel from Saudi Arabia and other places, indicates that we've gone the wrong direction. So I'm an all of the above guy. Let's be independent. If at all possible, let's get to a point where we don't have to buy any energy source from any other country and use all of our own.
Okay.
Good morning, Tim.
Good morning.
Do you have a specific plan to create more private sector jobs, and what is it?
Yes, I do. And the specific plan starts out with cutting spending. Cutting spending in Washington, cutting spending at every level, but my responsibility would be Washington. Cut the spending, right-size government, reduce its control, reduce its power, reduce its size, limit its scope, and we will encourage individuals and local communities with resources that they can use better than we can do at the federal level. Cut taxes, leave dollars back in the taxpayers' pocketbooks, eliminate business and corporate taxes, because we end up paying for it anyway as individual citizens. Let's give the breaks that are necessary for the private sector, that's the only sector that can produce an economy, to do just that. So you start by cutting taxes, cutting spending, limiting the size, scope of government, reducing unnecessary regulation. I say reducing unnecessary because as humans we will always overregulate. But we've gone to an overregulation that's obscene and that's holding our economy back. We need to restore the Bush tax cuts, for instance. We need to make sure that capital gains is eliminated as a tax, which is now a disincentive for people to expand and to progress. We need to do away with inheritance tax, the death tax, so that farmers and and small business people can hand over what they've developed to their own family, can carry on without the additional burdens of starting up a business all over again. Those things will produce an economy. And let's recognize the fact that even as we celebrate in this country our independence during this time of period, if you look back, our greatest revolutions came, the agricultural revolution, the industrial revolution, the technological revolution came without the government doing it. I mean, the cars we drive and the ability to drive a car efficiently, Henry Ford was not a government employee. Harley Davidson that I drive, that was produced in the private sector. The flush toilet was produced in the private sector. The ballpoint pen was produced in the private sector. It wasn't government doing that. So ratchet back the government, especially the federal government. Realize that the power flows from the states, and let the locals do.
Thank you.